Hey guys, Brian here. Welcome back to another This Old Barn Shop update. Today's deal here, I'm going to show you on the electrical system. I know a surefire way to get a lot of comments is to discuss electrical things. So this is my electrical system. I got the conduit coming into the building. My power feeds into my main switch, which this will feed the phase converter. So there'll be leads coming out of here going up into the attic up there where the phase converter will sit. And the power comes out of it and comes to a switch panel. I don't know if I'll leave a door on it or I may just take this off. And in here we've got a switch that can either kill the entire shop, or I've got main lugs underneath here that feed power to this panel. And then we've got power coming out of that conduit going up, over and back down to that other panel you see over there. So that's these are my single phase feeds for each side of the shop. A lot of people commented about running conduit across the floor, which would have been a little tough to get in here because of the concrete being poured here. But the bigger problem is this concrete here. This basically concrete beam that runs the entire length of the building that the crane's sitting on there. This, that's concrete floor over there. This keeps you from being able to run anything across the building because it's going to hit that. So you'd have to either cut that out with a chop saw or jackhammer it up or something. So it was a lot easier just to run all the conduit overhead. So I just run the conduit up there, across and back down. So that way I can also service wires later on if I ever need to, versus putting it in the concrete. And there was a lot of discussion too about putting drops in for the machines in the floor before I poured the concrete, which complicates the floor somewhat. But the bigger problem I have with that is I don't know where everything's going to sit in here. I kind of know where the boring mill is going to be and where my big Cincinnati VMC is going to sit. Beyond that, I'm not sure how I'm going to lay out the rest of it, if I'm going to put my other mill up here or if I'm going to put it back there. My Monarch's going to be back there, and I'm not sure how everything's going to be, so it'd be somewhat difficult to have your conduits in the right places for where the machines are going to end up, because I just don't know where that's going to be exactly. I got to see what suits me when I get to it. So really the only one that'll be fixed will be the HBM, because it's going to be bolted into the floor. Plus most of my machines are all made for vertical power drops. Their conduits all come in on top of the machines. My Cincinnati mills, the only thing I got that power comes in the bottom is the Monarch. Everything else is all fed from the top. So that's how it's going here on that. That's a fairly time-consuming job, a lot more than I thought it would be. Oh yeah, I guess I'll show you. I've been running electric wires for my outlets. I've got this side done. So I've got a double box outlet about every 7 feet, and there's only 4 plugs, or 4 pairs of plugs on each run of wire. So I've got good electrical capacity, and this setup here will be duplicated on the other side of the building. I think I've got these spaced out nice to where I'll have plenty of plug outlets. Also put them up high enough that one of my short Stanley Vidmar cabinets can go in front of these without blocking the plugs. It looks like it's super high right now because there's no floor here, but it's 4 foot is where they're set at, which is kind of the standardish height for box. My garage has got them this way, and that's worked out a lot better. And the house are down low, and the problem with that is the plugs are constantly getting blocked with stuff, or you got to plan when you put stuff in. It's like, well, I can't put it there because it's going to block the plug. So doing it this way, I think it's going to work out better. I've liked having the plugs up higher in the garage, so that's why I've done it in here. So I've been wiring them up in my spare time. Let's notice here, this one here has the wrong plug in it. It's kind of odd, or got the wrong face on it. It's supposed to be the same plug. I have to open that up and take a look at it because it's not got the extra slot. But it come out of the same sealed box, so maybe somebody at Cutler Hammer was having a bad day on that. That's funny. I have to check that out and see. I'm sure it was marked at 20 amp. Anyway, got me interested now. Yeah, that's what they should look like. Should have the extra notch in it for a 20 amp plug. So I got all 20. Everything's wired heavy. This 10-2 wire, which is more than what's necessary for this circuit. But it's always better to have surplus power than not enough, the way I figure. You know, I got 500 MCM coming into this building, and the old shop was woefully inadequately wired. I've only got, I think 2 gauge is what feeds into it, so I've been way over on the amps on it for a while. It hasn't been a problem besides the voltage drop. So I think we've cured that now. This whole barn shop project is to cure a whole lot of shortcomings in my existing shop. You know, I got the bridge crane for being able to move heavy stuff around, which has been a big problem, and a seriously upgraded electrical system. And the other advantage, the reason I want to put the phase converter on a system like this is I'm probably actually going to have a plug deal or a connection box that I can use external to where I could take a 3-phase generator and plug onto the building for additional power. So if I ever got something gigantic, you know, like a 60 horse lathe or something, where I was going to do a real heavy job and I needed that full power, I could supply that. Also, I could feed my building with that because I can shut off to the mains and have everything isolated down here but still functional inside just by flipping that breaker switch. The other deal with that breaker switch, I'm not sure if I said anything about it, but that allows these panels to be independent. So since I've been here working, if I need to service one side, like if I need to add an outlet or something and I want to kill the power to the panel, I can kill this panel and work on this side of the shop and still have that side of the shop live powered. So I can still use the plugs over there, utilities, lights, everything. The shop doesn't go dead just to service the panel. Same way, the other way, I can shut that panel off and kill that side of the shop and then have this side of the shop still functional. So it's somewhat redundant, but I think that's a really good idea, especially since, you know, there's a lot of people pointing out there's no windows in here. Most of my work's done at night, so windows don't offer a lot of advantage. They're usually pretty big heat losses and sometimes have a tendency to get broke. More work to put in and more expense. Maybe later on I'll go back and put some windows in. Probably not. My regular shop doesn't have any windows either, so I don't know if anybody's ever noticed that, but there's no windows in there, and that doesn't bother me at all. I just use the fluorescent lights. It'd be the same thing in here, the LEDs. You can actually get quite a bit of natural light through the doors but they'll be closed most of the time, since this will actually eventually become a climate controlled environment. Right now it's pretty much just a limited rain environment. So the only thing kind of working on here is while we're on wiring, also this we've got the feeds into the building nice and clean. Don't have a big box or conduit or anything on the outside, so I like the way that is. And then dug all the trench up there. Actually goes up to the power pole and turns and goes over to the house to a trough on it and gets the power from there. I'll have to finish filling all this back in sometime. For right now, I just kind of covered it over to keep the wire down in it. I want to be sure it works before I totally cover it up. I just don't have any power on it right now. I haven't gotten that far. And then the next big project will be working on these doors. I need to start getting the doors built so I can actually close the shop in. I was looking the track materials and the hangers and rollers and everything to build the doors the way I want to do it, not using cheap, low quality import stuff. Because basically there's 80 foot of track, since it takes 2 doors to be able to slide on here and be tall enough where they don't hit the roof and they don't go off the building either and get tore up. So 80 foot of track plus 8 rollers, and all the hangers and stuff, it's like $2,000. So a lot more expensive than what I figured it would be. So I was a little surprised about that, but it is what it is. I just have to deal with that. Same kind of deal. I didn't expect to spend nearly so much money on this electrical system. You know, I've got this between the wires and the boxes and everything in here. That's like another $2,000. So it adds up pretty quick. But that's my other panel. People love seeing exposed wiring. It's one of their favorite things, but there's no power on any of it, so I wouldn't worry about it right now. So that's where we're at. I guess that's the update. Not sure if Bailey approves or not. I'm not sure he's had training on wiring, but when he was a puppy, he chewed on extension cords that were plugged in, so maybe he knows a little bit about it. Anyway, thanks for watching and thanks for subscribing. I have some more probably machining content soon. I need to work on the crane so I can get it put up and get it out of the way. So I've got several videos shot on that, but I haven't done anything with them yet. So I haven't finished that project. Been busy working on this, but starting to get caught up to where it's going to be floor time, and there's going to be time in between as I do these pours in here, because I'll have to cure up enough for me for the next truck to pull in on top of the floor and not damage the floor. So alright, I guess that's it. Time to get back to wiring. I'll catch y'all later.